In a peaceful village surrounded by endless green fields stood a tiny cottage beneath a giant banyan tree. There lived an elderly woman with silver hair, gentle wrinkles, and eyes that sparkled with kindness. Though she had lost her husband many years ago and lived alone, she never complained. Her smile brightened hearts and inspired everyone she met daily. Life in the village was never easy. Farmers depended on uncertain rains, laborers struggled for daily wages, and families worried about tomorrow. Sometimes crops failed under the scorching sun. Sometimes sickness stole precious opportunities. Fear and hardship visited many homes. Despite these challenges, the villagers worked tirelessly, hoping each new day would bring better fortune and relief. One warm afternoon, a young mother named Radha hurried toward the banyan tree. Tears streamed down her cheeks as fear overwhelmed her heart. Her husband had traveled to the city searching for work, but weeks had passed without news. Her children were hungry, her savings were gone, and uncertainty seemed to surround her from every direction completely. The old woman immediately noticed Radha's sorrow. Instead of rushing to offer solutions, she invited her to sit beneath the cool shade of the banyan tree. With patience and compassion, she listened carefully. Radha spoke about her fears, her struggles, and her worries. For the first time in weeks, someone truly listened without judgment or interruption. "What do you think will happen?" the old woman asked gently. Radha lowered her eyes and imagined only disaster. She feared her husband would fail, never return, or forget his family completely. Every thought created another worry. The old woman understood. Fear grows stronger when the mind repeatedly feeds it with darkness instead of possibility and hope. "My child," the old woman said softly, "when you expect the worst every day, your heart becomes heavy before any problem even arrives. But when you choose hope, you discover strength you never knew existed." Radha listened carefully, confused but curious. How could positive thoughts help when her troubles were real and growing larger each day around her? Seeing Radha's confusion, the old woman smiled knowingly. "Let me tell you a story," she began. "Many years ago, there lived a poor man who believed life had abandoned him. He possessed no money, no family, and very little food. Every day he sat beside a river, convinced happiness was forever beyond his reach and impossible. One afternoon, as the man sat crying beside the river, an elderly traveler approached quietly. She carried no riches and offered no gifts. Instead, she sat beside him and asked a simple question. "Why are you crying?" The man explained his suffering, convinced he had absolutely nothing valuable left in his life to appreciate anymore. The traveler pointed toward the river, the trees, and the sunlight dancing across the water. "You say you have nothing," she said, "yet beauty surrounds you." The man looked around carefully. For the first time in many months, he noticed nature's gifts. His sadness had blinded him to the blessings still remaining in his life. That day, the man made an important decision. Instead of focusing only on everything he lacked, he would appreciate what remained. His circumstances did not change overnight, but his attitude did. Gradually, gratitude replaced despair. With a lighter heart came greater determination, and with determination came opportunities he once believed were impossible to achieve. The old woman finished her story and turned toward Radha. "Do you understand now?" she asked gently. The man's life changed because his thinking changed. Radha sat silently beneath the tree. She could feel something shifting within her heart. For the first time since her husband left, hope seemed stronger than fear and doubt today. "Can positive thinking truly change my life?" Radha asked carefully. The old woman smiled. "It cannot remove every challenge," she replied, "but it changes how you face them. A hopeful person sees possibilities where others see obstacles. That strength often creates opportunities. Fear weakens the spirit, but hope gives courage to continue moving forward every day." The following morning, Radha woke before sunrise. Instead of letting fear control her thoughts, she sat quietly and whispered, "Today will be a good day." The words felt unfamiliar, yet powerful. As golden light filled her small home, she felt a spark of strength returning. For the first time in weeks, she believed she could face whatever challenges awaited her ahead. Each morning, Radha repeated the same words. "Today will be a good day." Some days were harder than others. Worries still appeared, but she refused to let them rule her mind. She worked tirelessly, cared for her children, and kept faith alive. Slowly, Her confidence grew stronger. Hope was no longer a wish. It was becoming her daily habit. The days passed, and life remained challenging. Money was still scarce, and answers had not yet arrived. Yet something inside Radha had changed. Instead of focusing on fear, she focused on what she could do today. Her children noticed her new attitude. Her courage became a light that slowly brightened their small home. One bright afternoon, a messenger entered the village carrying letters from the city. When he called Radha's name, her heart raced. With trembling hands, she opened the envelope. Her eyes widened as she read the words. Her husband had found work. He was safe. He was sending money home. Tears of joy filled her eyes instantly. Without wasting a moment, Radha ran toward the banyan tree. Her feet moved quickly across the village path. Every step carried excitement, relief, and gratitude. The burden she had carried for weeks felt lighter than ever. She could not wait to share the wonderful news with the woman whose wisdom had changed everything. The old woman listened quietly as Radha shared the news. A gentle smile appeared on her face. "You see, my child," she said, "hope did not bring the letter, but hope gave you strength to survive until it arrived." Radha nodded. She finally understood. Positive thinking had transformed her before it transformed her circumstances completely. News of Radha's transformation quickly spread throughout the village. People were curious. They wanted to know how she remained strong during such difficult times. Soon, villagers began visiting the old woman beneath the banyan tree. They came carrying fears, worries, and struggles, hoping to find the same peace Radha had discovered. A worried farmer approached first. Months without rain threatened his crops. Fear filled his mind. The old woman listened carefully and reminded him that despair could not grow food. Only effort could. Encouraged by her words, he returned to his fields determined to keep working while believing better days would eventually come. Soon, a carpenter visited. Business had slowed, and customers were disappearing. He feared losing everything. The old woman encouraged him to focus on improving his craft instead of fearing failure. Inspired by her advice, he created his finest work. Before long, customers returned, impressed by his dedication and skill. One by one, people embraced the old woman's teachings. Challenges still existed, but attitudes changed. Neighbors encouraged each other. Families focused on possibilities instead of problems. Slowly, the atmosphere of the village transformed. Smiles became more common. Hope replaced despair. People discovered strength they never knew they possessed before. Many villagers believed the old woman possessed magical wisdom. But her secret was simple. She taught people to control their thoughts instead of allowing fear to control them. When people changed their mindset, they discovered courage. When courage appeared, action followed. And when action followed, opportunities often appeared where none seemed possible. Years passed, yet the old woman's lessons remained alive. Parents shared them with children. Children grew up teaching them to others. Through every challenge, the village remembered her wisdom. They understood that life would always contain difficulties, but hope and determination could help them overcome obstacles and continue moving forward together. One evening, the old woman sat beneath the banyan tree and watched the village she had inspired. Laughter echoed through the air. Children played happily. Families worked together with confidence. She smiled peacefully, knowing her greatest gift was not wealth or power. It was teaching people that hope can transform lives, families, and entire communities forever. If this story touched your heart, remember this. Your circumstances may not change overnight, but your mindset can change today. Every great transformation begins with a single hopeful thought. What lesson inspired you most? Share it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and join us for more powerful stories that can change the way you see your life forever.